Well, it's much like last week, very similar circumstances, a narrow 1-0 victory this afternoon. Just your thoughts on that one?
Tough game. We knew it was going to be a really tough game today against a Warrington Rylands side who've had a difficult start to the season. They've come into some good form midway through and got themselves in the position where they are playing some good football. Nothing left to play for in terms of playoffs or relegation, so we didn't quite know how they would be really, but no, they were a tough opposition today. They have a certain style of play which suits them and suits the manager that they've got. And so now we knew it was going to be tough, and we had to be patient in our press, in our out of possession stuff today. And I thought we done that. The first goal was a prime example of that, where quick transition and a great finish by Timon. It was a tough day. The lads are on the bums in there, if you like, but a really good performance, and I'm really pleased that we've got another 3 points.
Yeah, in the first half, on the whole, it was a bit of a cagey affair, like we've sort of seen a lot of Whitby matches recently, really, given the situation we're in there. But that goal from Matty Tyler right at the stroke of half time, and a real sort of moment of genius from him as well, because it looks well and easy for the keeper off his line just to lob in, but it's a lot easier said than done. Yeah,
great technique, and it was like I mentioned earlier. The out of possession stuff today, we had to be really, really patient with it, and we were just hoping that pass that they might force through might ricochet up on the pitch, on the dry surface, and we managed to nick it, and Leighton plays a great ball through it in time, and great technique to lob it over the keeper who was struggling to obviously get there.
Yeah, and then going into the second half, once again, KG sort of unique in a way, because obviously the Rylands lost their goalkeeper to injury, so had an outfielder in net towards the end of the match. But as well, you could see that reaction from Rylands as well in terms of their attacking play, which on the whole we managed to defend really well against.
Yeah, they were always going to come out, and they've got nothing to lose, have they? So no, it's going to be a tough second half, and it proved that way. They're all tough in this league, and whether you're playing first half or second half, you're always at some point going to come under the cosh. And I said that to them before the game, not to get frustrated when teams have that spell against us. We'll have our own spell. Thankfully we got the all-important goal today, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and obviously with how they're getting pan out later on, a few more chances to try and make it a bit more comfortable. Didn't quite happen, but so the real pleasure thing today is back-to-back clean sheets, because it's certainly been a while since we've had that.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we've done that. I can't remember the last time we won a couple of games in a row either. I think it was quite early, when I took over. So I wanted to get that out with them today. Back up a really good win at last weekend, and two great weeks for us. And today's result was all the more important. Looking at the other results around us, where everyone seemed to have picked up points, but obviously drags a lot of teams above us now into where we're at. And confidence is high at the moment. We've obviously just got 2 clean sheets. We've just got 6 points within the week. So we will go into next week. A double header next week with it all to play for.
Yeah, and just a word on Matty Tyler. Obviously he missed last week. Was unavailable for that one. But in terms of his form, I think it's 4 goals in 4 games for him now, which really probably puts him up there with one of the most informed strikers in the division at the moment. Just how important do you feel he's been to the way we've gone about business in recent weeks?
Great. He's obviously come in at a time when we were probably struggling at the top end. We lost Steve, and Matty became available, and it was a bit of a no-brainer really with his experience and with what he could offer. And I think as soon as he got his chance in the team, which he had to wait a few weeks for. I think as soon as he got his chance in the team, he sort of showed what he can bring to the team. And the goals didn't flow instantly, and that's no slight on Matty. Matty's not the type who's going to go scoring tens of goals in a season. He brings a lot more to the table than that, and thankfully the goals that have come off the back of the hard work that he's given us.
Yeah, and you've already touched on it as well. The results elsewhere today, obviously Whitby getting that victory was big just for themselves, but like you mentioned there, all the other teams around us typically seem to pick up victories as well. So it's kind of as you were last week, but at least you've seen in the last 2 matches where you're beating a side in and around you, and then another team who has sort of been pushing towards the playoffs in recent weeks that Whitby are more than a match for most teams to come up against.
Definitely, and that's the division, isn't it? We'll come up against a good FC United team on Friday, but and also a team, an FC United team who will be beatable. and vice versa. So we'll have to make sure we prepare right for that one. It's a quick turnaround in terms of the next game after that, but we'll, like I mentioned earlier, we'll go into it full of confidence, and we know what's at stake. The lads know what's at stake, and we'll certainly give it our best shot.
Yeah, just looking at that Easter weekend schedule as well, 2 games, the Friday and the Monday, and it does really feel like a weekend that's ultimately going to define how the season sort of finishes, isn't it? Those 2 big games away, FC United first and then at home to Blythe, and also going to be a test on the squad, I imagine, as well, a few niggles out there.
I think so. I think it'll be a huge test on the squad, but I'm quite pleased that the FC United games have obviously been brought forward, and I thank FC United for that as well. So hopefully that helps us in terms of the one after that. But we'll take each game as it comes. The next one on the horizon is that FC United one. A decent team and a tough place to go with a really good manager. So we'll prepare for that. We'll train as normal this week, and we'll go into it open to back up what's been a really pleasing last 2 games for us.
I think it was Liz.
Yes.